So, Gemini, this is your reading for the month of Aquarius, which means Sun in Aquarius is giving the light to your moon right now, which is waxing. And the first thing that comes to my mind when I look at these two cards is that they're all three are naked. And that nakedness is something that we are more and more not able to see, because in this digital age anybody can now take a picture of us, right? And the naked culture in Germany here is something that still is cherished, and most of the world doesn't even have that freedom to be naked. So naked means I can show myself just the way I am. I don't have anything to hide. Two air signs coming together. Here is the 11th house of friendship, and here the 3rd house of communication. And as you can see, he looks at her and she looks up to him, to the higher consciousness. So this is conscious, subconscious, higher conscious. And the star is facing the left spinning direction. And I show you a picture because I do right and left spinning readings. And right now this is a right spinning reading. And that has to do with, first, the Earth spins around its own axis here, this arrow, 24th. And at the same time it spins around the Sun, also to the right, in 365 days. Your full moon reading, you get a left spinning reading, which is the wobble that the Earth does around its own axis, and that's left spinning. And so that lasts 25,800 to 26,000 years. And when we calculate that through the 12 zodiac signs, then we get an age. And currently we are moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And so for me, the month of Aquarius is kind of a little bit looking into the future, even though everything is happening now. There is no future and there is no past. There is only now. So let's see, this is going to be the title, right? So the yoga position that I gave Aquarius, or the star, is side plank, where we grab the toe and stretch ourselves up like a star. And the transformation is here through the hexagram, the 7th star that is falling down here, and then you become the star here on Earth. For you, I gave you the most difficult position, which is Ekapada Raja Kaput Asana, King Pigeon. And it's the reaching back into the subconscious. The conscious is saying, okay, I reach into my feet, I reach into my subconscious, which is here. And in that reaching back, I can see my higher conscious. I can shift and evolve again here through the hexagram. So the hexagram comes up here very often in the tarot, because this is the union of male and female. And so here the Lovers is that union within you of the male and the female. Very important for you to know. It's not a love story with someone else. It's first a love story with you. Your court card is the Knight of Swords. If your birthday is between May 10th and June 9th, this will be your court card. And you see he's going into the soul path to the left. And the soul path is that from deep within, I have this feeling, I have this, I gotta do this. And the right spinning is the human path, is that I see things from the outside and I incorporate that deep within me. Back to your last reading, where you had Capricorn Sun giving the light to Gemini Moon. The title was "The Play of Duality is at the Core of Your Awakening." Two of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Two of Voices. So it was a 2-2-2 portal here. And let's see what the theme this time is. And we begin, as usual, on the position of the Fool, which is pointed into the left spinning path, the Ace of Wands. Masculine, action, taking now a step, which means you're gonna bring the right foot forward, the masculine, and you're gonna take this step, because this is a state of consciousness that's saying, okay, your soul is literally guiding you and saying, trust this feeling that you got and just act upon it. On the position of the Magician, a state of consciousness that feels then that the wand is on the table and is almost like celebrating. Comes the spiral, the number 50. So it's almost like the 4 elements on the table and he himself is the 5th element. And then, of course, the 0 back to the action, back to the wand. He is the one that is acting now upon this idea. He feels the inspiration. And so you are acting upon this idea and you starting either inwards or outwards to bring this energy into the world. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes you. The state of consciousness that's saying, I'm intuitive and I'm using my intuition. I'm using here the intuition of loving myself, saving myself, taking care of myself. Then this is the story of Perseus and Andromeda. And Andromeda is chained to this rock. She's chained here to a cycle, to a never-ending spiral of our hormones, of the times that the sun and the moon and the earth are interacting and all the other planets. But the High Priestess comes into the center of black and white, and she is the one that is deciding to be the 3 or the new one. And here you deciding to take care of yourself, you deciding to listen to your intuition, you decide to love yourself, to be yourself on a very deep level. Then on the position of the Empress comes the Emperor. Then you take responsibility in the square, in the material world, and he's facing the left spinning, and it's almost like he's looking at this and he's literally like saying, yes, I am taking responsibility to liberate myself, and I give birth through the 3 to this new state of consciousness. I have the eagle, and I have the sun and the moon, and I have the world in my hands, and I have the lily, the 3, the wand that has come to you here clearly as a sign, now I am ready to conquer the world. Now I am not attached anymore. Now I am liberated and I am acting upon it. And then comes you, right? You then running to the King of Kings. That's the Emperor. And look at that now, the sun is coming out. 2 air signs come together. We had like really cloudy days, and it was getting like, oh, I need the sun. And today And yesterday we have now beautiful sunny days. So you are walking towards the King of Kings, the Emperor, and the responsibility. It's almost like you gotta let go a little bit of this intensity, because this is what puts you in the first place also into this attachment, right? Because the mind, the sword here, the Hebrew letter for the lovers is Zain, which is the sword. And Perseus is liberating here Andromeda from the sea dragon or the snake, and that's the sexual energy that we attach to, right? Sometimes the sexual makes us do things, and after it, after we went through our search for that desire, we wonder what happened, right? Why was I like this? Why was I like this? So I think you gotta really wake up a little bit, because then comes on your position the Tower, the number 7 or the 16, which is the 1, which is then of course here on the position of the Magician, the spiral that brought into movement something, and so now it's shifting. And of course the 6, which on the position of the High Priestess came your card, and you are liberating yourself, freeing yourself with love. And it's almost like you running away from that, but nevertheless this has happened and this is happening. Right, so if I take you now away and I put him here, it's like, yes, take responsibility for yourself, and then things really crumble. Things are really shifting, because the Tower is that old structures gotta go for new structures to build itself. And yes, we have the opportunity to build on top, but sometimes these things also just literally need to be going, because it's not working, right? The old is so rigid and so holding on to their philosophy or their state of consciousness that sometimes it needs to break, it needs to leave. And what's beautiful is that on the position of the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter, and the Quiz of Life, right? This is a state of consciousness where you like question yourself and question what is all this about. And then comes here the number 23, the gift, the 2, which is here you came up on the number 2, and on the Empress came the Emperor, and together it's a 5, and that's the spiral. The initiation that you gave yourself by acting upon the foolish idea that you maybe had, and nevertheless you're like, put something in motion. You brought something into motion. And that motion created now a 5-5 portal. 2 times 5. The 5s are usually tests, and so the spiral is also a test. It's that infinite spiral within and the infinite spiral without. And then here, because things have shifted and things have changed, with love, you are able now to recognize that you are the magician, that you give yourself now. Then here with this lovely energy comes the gift. You are the gift. Recognize that. You are the gift. And then on the position of the Hanged Man, also a state of consciousness that's saying, okay, now I want to change, I want to do things differently, and I have this inspiration of the raw Morganet. And it's a 44, which then creates 3 times 4 with the Emperor. And 3 times 4 is empowering yourself through the heart, through what's in your heart. And the raw Morganite is sensibility, empathy, feeling for others, the gift of vulnerability. the gift of vulnerability after you had this crash, after you had something falling apart, awakening you, because you also have here 1, 2, 3, 4 butterflies coming out. The butterfly is transformation, and the 4 is again here connected to the Emperor, the responsibility, taking responsibility. Then you have the squirrel, and you have 2 little nuts, and one is already in the midst of awakening, of growing something new. So beautiful. And that's now the gift of vulnerability, the gift of sensitivity, the gift of beginning fresh, beginning new, because you really begin new on the position of the Tower. There comes the earthworm, and the earthworm, what's really interesting is that the Tower has broken or shifted the energy in your life into more sensitivity, and the earthworm is the one that builds from scratch, right? It creates new earth. And he's shy, and he's maybe not so outgoing, but nevertheless, and he thinks the others are better or more wise or more special. He's shy, hesitant, reluctant, and also reluctant to share his inner vision. And the most beautiful thing here is that we all have felt the woes of the earthworm at some point along the way. The earthworm indicates a newbie or a novice working to establish confidence in a new field. Others around you may seem wise and experienced, but it's important to remember they once felt earthworm energy too. And so this card is a reminder not to be intimidated or lose hope. Mastery takes time, and you're on the right track. Besides, rumor has it, a beginner's mind offers the most valuable insight. Here you go. So the 4-4 portal, 3 times 4, is here to make you trust your heart, make you trust that power lies in the heart, and that power lies in being sensitive. Not a bully, being responsible and being sensitive for every action that you take. And so here begins a new chapter, because when things fall apart, when the Tower energy comes, you literally realize now you can completely build something new. And then on the position of the star of Aquarius comes the wand again. And so the most beautiful story here is that this wand has grown now into a flower. You have learned, you have realized that even as a beginner, as a novice, you learning and you have something in you, and now it has grown into this most beautiful flower. So the wand has shifted into a state of consciousness that's growing here out of this book, and that's Aquarius. Aquarius is bringing that to you. The age of Aquarius is about learning and growing further and foremost again into the hope, into the star, becoming the star yourself. And then the last 4 here, the moon, which is in your sign, comes Fortune's wheel, the number 23. So the 23, the gift, has spoken to you as that if you really truly let go through the Tower, you're gonna see now a big shift in the way you experience again life. It's always the same, right? When we let go of something, something else can come to us. And so the longing to grow and to shift and to awaken and to look up at this beautiful moon that comes and goes comes this beautiful card, the Fortune's Wheel. And so you are on this position. This is your luck. Real luck. Because with love you have let go of something, right? And so now the 5 is coming. From 7 to 5. The wheel's fortune, or fortune's wheel. So now you have here a 5, here a 5, and here a 5. And you have 2 times the 1. 3 times 5. The power in communicating, the power in recognizing that every test can be a fortune. Every test can be helping you to grow and helping you to evolve. And then on the position of the Sun, which is in Aquarius, comes the 22. Here the motion, the air, the horses. And it's really interesting because these are your horses, and it's saying don't go the spiritual path anymore. Turn around and go now into the world. Recognize what you have learned is important. Now go into the world, right? And here comes Aquarius telling you to recognize yourself, the 22, 2 times. The 22, here is a 2 in as well. And so a portal itself is opening through this, and you are able to get through it. And it's opening, and you got to take that chance, because sometimes that chance doesn't come back again. And that chance is now to go forward into this world and bring what you learned and bring what you have let go to the people and show them that yes, it is possible, right? It doesn't matter if you go inward or outward. It's in both directions a learning experience. And so is the right or the left spinning path. So go, keep going, because this is where you're growing. This is where you're evolving. This is where you turn the wand into a flower. And then on the position of the last judgment, the wake-up call, comes this very beautiful moment of I have arrived in my intuition, because on the position of the High Priestess is your card, your major arcana card. Your intuition is now sharpened. Your intuition is now connected. You recognize that in both directions you can, in one direction, find your soul path, and in the other direction you find your human path. And together you are sitting here now and you're becoming that one. And here it's the number 55, again a portal. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5. Wow, so beautiful. Allow the limitless power of your unconscious mind to answer your problem by using symbols, memories, and hunches. Your unconscious mind, right? You're looking into the subconscious and you're seeing the higher conscious. You're opening your heart, you're opening yourself, because you dared to reach into the subconscious. You dared because Aquarius was giving you the light, was giving you the power to be a star, to shine like a star. And here comes the 5-5 portal to you, and the intuition and the meditation, and that arriving in the flower, right? The flower here. It's almost like in this flower, in this growth, in this transformation comes now this state of consciousness. You see that? It's almost like this is part of this picture. The flower is part of this picture. So beautiful. And so, yes, you are taking now the chance. And then how beautiful comes on the position of the world, comes the Ace of Voice, the sword, the clear thinking. She's looking at him and she knows. in the soul you have arrived, but you also need to know that now you gotta continue, because to reconnect is then here the want, the action, the thought, yes. And it's interesting because the light beam goes here to this wand. Action is needed. I can think and think and think, and it's the moment the seed blossoms. It's the moment that here this blossoms. So you have 3 times the 1. Of course, you have in the tower the 16 a 1. And so you have 4 times the 1, right? But 3 times the 1 is having the power to know the inspiration, the crown, the knowing, the deep, deep, deep oneness. Everything is one. You're looking at it, and the owl is literally coming at you and saying, now manifest, now create. Because yes, you can think about something, but we also need to take a little bit of action. We need to initiate. We cannot just sit on a couch and only think about it. We also have to have an experience. And that experience is coming to you now through Aquarius, the age of Aquarius, because this is connected with Aquarius as well. And the world is feeling that, and all the air signs are feeling that, and you are an earth sign. So all Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are the 3 signs that feel this new age coming, feel that something is really big time shifting, and that your intuition is now here clearly to be you and to be naked, to show yourself, right? To be completely naked, show yourself, and recognize she's naked too. It's about recognizing that we don't have to be ashamed of anything. And so you are spiraling forward into the 5 times 5. The question of self is, this is who I am now. No more hiding, just looking into the direction of the soul and knowing my spiritual path continues. My spiritual path is now I take action. I am action oriented, and I am able to grow and shift and create whatever I want to create. Because remember, you had 3 times the 4, and that's the power in taking responsibility. And you have 3 times the 1. It's the power in knowing that responsibility has to be taken care here. And of course, in your head, but also in your foundation, in the willingness to be part of this physical world. And so here you are growing and shifting, because Aquarius is giving you quite a strong push to evolve, right? And even though you are all the way down here, as a worm, he builds a new ground. You built a new ground, right? And so these 3 are connected with this. This is the new novice. You're learning something new and you want to bring it into the world, and you are bringing it into the world, because new people are needed for new ideas to come through the age of Aquarius. Wow, so beautiful. I hope I see you in the next reading, because then the Earth turns in such a way that we see behind the Sun the constellation Pisces. So the old age is speaking to us. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.